I'm on a journey to play 1,000 games, and here are the top 10 games I played so far. Number 10 is Fromage, the competitive cheese making game. And when I first saw the little spinning Lazy Susan, I was like, I gotta try this game. I gotta see what it's all about. But luckily, I keep hearing good things. That was a good game. And I have to agree, that's why it's my number 10 so far. So let's open it up and see what it's all about. I mean, you gotta admit, this is pretty cool. But let's go through how the game works a little bit. So the quick high-level overview, this game breaks down to, say, 4 mini games. We'll focus on this one first, since it's the closest to the camera. In this one, you're trying to make cheeses that form the biggest group of cheeses. If you see the rubric right here, if you have, say, 4 cheeses connected somehow, you'll score 6 points. If you have 7 cheeses connected, you'll score 15 points. What does a cheese connected mean? That means if I have, like, say, one of my cheeses here, a cheese here, that's 2 adjacencies. But what's the part I'm leaving out is also these count. These are sort of like wild, so you can use them to make your adjacencies more. So instead of just being 2, I would actually score 1, 2, 3, 4. I would score 4 with those 2 placements. And 4 scores me 6 points. So a large part of this game is how do you make your cheeses. Now each player has a different color cheese wedge, so the colors don't matter, just that's the player color. And it matches the color of my workers. I have 3 workers and 3 types of cheeses. So if I wanted to make that silver cheese here, I need to, since it's a soft white cheese, you know, basically the background matches my soft white cheese, I can place this on top. The catch is how long I have to wait to get this back. So now you wouldn't do this on your turn, but for instance, if I had one here, just for example, I need to put my blue cheese here. Essentially, once you're done with your side of the board, and once the board rotates, you get back any worker that is facing towards you. So in this case, if I do this, you'll notice that this worker right here, the bronze one, is now facing towards me because I don't need 1 rotation to get it back. So I would get that back if I put it on the bronze spot. But since I went with the white cheese, you'll notice how it's still facing this way. It's away from me. So I would have to wait I would have to take my turn here, and then once the board rotated one more time, now I get this worker back. Now my cheese stays, but I get my worker back. So a large part of the game is figuring out which worker to use and also how long it's going to take to get it back. Do you put it on a bronze, silver, or gold spot? Because a gold spot, which we haven't even gone over, if it's a gold cheese, then it's going to take 3 rotations to get it back, which is the longest in the game. The other 3 boards are just different games. Like this one, you're trying to compete for different, area majority. This one, you're trying to get like different pairings of cheese on the same table. And this one, you want to be on different shelves. And then each of them, sometimes they require certain types of fruit and stuff. So it varies game to game. But ultimately, you're trying to balance the timing of what worker to place and when do you need it back. I would say this piece of the game, pretty simple for pretty much any gamer can pick this up right away because it's just 4 mini games. The part I found added a little bit of complexity, makes this game a little bit harder, is then you still have your personal player board. I just felt like this part, easy to those who play a lot of games. I just found like if you're a new gamer, this additional piece just adds a little bit of complexity that's going to make the game a little harder to learn. But it's that additional complexity that makes the game really fun for me. I mean, I love this part, but I also love trying to figure out the connections and the combos you can make. How do you use this to be as efficient? Because sometimes you're just like, oh, I really need to go twice. Okay, I have 2 turns to figure out how to get the cattle I need, so that when I go here, I can go twice and I can get the area majority here, and boom, I'll get this point. So that additional thinking, just makes the game, number 10 for me. Number 9 is Gizmos. Now, when I first played this game a long time ago, I didn't realize it at the time, but it was my first engine building game. That's when I got a taste for engine building. I was like, ooh, kind of like this. And this one has marbles. So let's pop it open and see what it's all about. There we go. Whoops. As me, I just enjoy marbles in board games. It's just a fun component. So the majority of the game is centered around your workbench, and you're continually adding cards to these different slots. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different slots I could add cards to. Now, like for instance, if I was to buy on my turn this card, which it costs me 1 blue marble, I can then add that to the right slot, in this case, the build slot, right? Now, this lets me literally build my engine as you go. Your engine kind of starts small, but it gets pretty powerful as you go on. Let me just give you one sample of what an engine feels like. So for instance, let's say on my turn, I want to build this yellow card I have in my archive. Because on your turn, you can take a card, you don't have to pay for it right away. You can actually put it in one of your slots in the archive. In this case, if I want to build it on my turn, it's costing 1 yellow, which I do have 1 yellow. And this will go into my converter section. Because what this card allows me to do is I can convert, say, a blue marble to a different color. So for instance, if I had a blue and a red, but I needed 2 red, I can use my converter to convert this blue one into a red one. So I can catch these 2 marbles as if they were 2 red. But the really cool part is once I build that yellow gizmo, it activates part of my engine. So this says, this card right here, which I already had, says when I build a yellow card from my archive, I'm allowed to pick up any marble I want from here. So I pick a blue one. The reason I chose a blue one is because right here it says if I pick a blue one, I get to take a wild one from the middle, just take a random one from the middle. But I also activated this card that says if I build any color from the archive, I get to choose 2 marbles. So I might as well choose 2 marbles. So you can see how I took one action and it let me get several different turns in one go. And as the game continues on, that only gets more and more. Like you can take one turn and maybe end up with 10 marbles, if you're allowed to. There is some space considerations to consider. Right now, the most I can have is 6 inside my queue, so I'm at my max. But there's other cards here that let you get your max even higher. So it all depends on what kind of strategy you're trying to do. But without going into too many details, that basically covers the high level view. You're essentially building up your dashboard, adding different cards to it, which let you do more and more actions. Ultimately, each card has different points on it. This is like worth 1 point. This is worth 3 points. Some are worth 8 points. So which ones you buy will also give you points. And sometimes you can build a little engine that every time you activate the engine, you generate like one bonus point, 1 bonus point. So at the end of the turn, you add up all the tokens, points that you got, plus all the points on your cards. Whoever has the most points wins. The reason this made my list, it's just a very satisfying game to play. You start off with very small actions, and then as you add cards to your little dashboard here, it just gives you more and more powerful moves you can make. And it's a pretty simple game. I'll admit the iconology is the hardest part to overcome, but once you get the gist of that, the game is very smooth. And it's just fun to try to race to the end because you can see what other people are building, you kind of see how many points they have, and then you start to get nervous, maybe make some rash decisions. I don't know, I played this game a few different times, and each time it was just fun. Number 8 takes 2 hands to bring over here because it is a big boy. And this is the deluxe edition, which I must say I'm happy I upgraded. I did buy the standard edition at first. Still a good game. All the components are nice. But this one just keeps all the pieces. So that way, if I turn it upside down like this, I don't cry for 30 minutes. So Plenty Unknown, if you don't know, is a really cool polynomial game where it's those Tetris-like pieces. And it's just neat because I play games like Patchwork and other polynomial games. And usually it's just a nice little puzzle. But this one just has like more substance, more game to it. So let's pop it open and show you what it's all about. Big boy game. Plenty Unknown was one of the first games I played that I was like, what is this? This game just like looks so different. I mean, up to that point, the only polynomial-like game was Barren Park, which is, solid gateway polynomial game. I definitely recommend it as well. But this one, okay, you got the puzzle pieces on your board. Cool, seen that. Then you introduce this whole track thing over here. And then this adds so much to the game. To simplify the game in terms of how you win with points, it comes down to how efficiently you build on your planet. So when you're placing the little puzzle pieces here onto the planet, if you can fill in, say, a column or a row where there's no gaps, meaning you have like your polynomials in all the different spaces, then you'll score that row or column, assuming you have no asteroids, which we'll get to asteroids in a second. Now the points aren't equal. Like the longer ones are worth like 3 points, and then the ones closer to the edge are worth 1 point. So only filling these 2 squares here will only give you 1 point, but filling in these 2 central ones will give you 3 points. So just how a turn structure works is I can spin my little Lady Susan. I think you have to spin a bunch of times. I think it's part of the game. No, but ultimately once I choose a piece, I'd say I choose this section here, so I can choose these 2 sections. Well, now it automatically puts everyone else around the board into their section. So if this guy's sitting here, he has to choose from here. If you're sitting here, you have to choose from these 2. So you always have 2 choices, but the active player, is kind of choosing for you in a way. And only on your turn do you have a free choice. So let's just say I go with this one. So this one gives me this little like L-shaped one. So I think I'll start here. Now, every time you put a piece down, you're going to be activating your track of poly in 2 different ways. In this case, this is green territory, so I'm going to at least go up 1 on my green. And since this is like this, they call it the civilization, I'll go up 1 on my civ. Now, this is those asteroids I was talking about. So every time you see an asteroid on the polynomial piece, you have to add a little asteroid to the thing. Not bad right now. As long as you can get that off of there before the end of the game, you can score this section. How do you get those asteroids up? It's another really cool part of the game. So later on, say I chose a piece like this, right? And I put it here. This has the red, which is my rover track. So then I move up one of my rover track. Now that introduces a rover onto this piece, which unfortunately comes with an asteroid. So be it. Now, the rover can move and collect those asteroids. This game, you can go a lot of different ways. Super easy gameplay. Essentially, once you play a couple rounds, you'll start to feel how the game works. Where it can get challenging is starting to think of how all the inner things connect, how to combo things, how to make things more efficient. So one quick note on one thing that makes it really satisfying to play this game is on these different tracks, there's these little, like, I call them beach balls because I'm simple, but I think they're called like energy mass destroyers or something. They have a name. They have a technical name. But every time you hit one of these beach balls, is what I call it, it lets you go again on another track. So for instance, this green is one away, so I go up here. Now I can move up another track. If I move the blue one, well, now I can move another track because that also hit a little beach ball. So maybe I can then go up on the rover, which lets me move my rover one, and so on and so forth. So you can time it so that way you're getting additional turns on the track, not just when you put down pieces. I've seen this game on a lot of people's lists, and I can definitely see why. It's just magical. I mean, if you like a polynomial type experience, this brings it in spades. Not the card game. Why am I making bad jokes? Anyway, it's a good game. I can see why. It's a little bit complicated. I mean, it's definitely not a gateway-friendly game. There's a lot going on here. I try to play with some like new gamers who really don't play games. They could get it, but you could tell it was just like way too much. I'm a sucker for a space theme. So when I first played it, I was like, I'm just want to play space theme games. I don't care. I'm a sucker for those. And the idea that I'm running a corporation. And that's the other thing too. I'll just show you real quick. Boom! On the back of all these boards, there's other corporations that come with different asymmetric powers. So this game, it just continues to grow with you. As you get better, you can challenge yourself with other, facets of the game. Number 7 is the Quest for El Dorado. Now, this is probably my favorite racing game. I mean, I tried other games like Heat and all these. They just didn't stay in my collection, and I got rid of them. But Quest for El Dorado, I mean, it combines deck building, which is awesome, and racing. I mean, I love it. And it has the extra benefit that my wife really enjoys it. The game board is very modular. That's the word. So let's crack it open and show you what makes this game so cool. Oh man, I'm not gonna lie. Setting this up, I really want to play it now. So I'm hoping my wife comes home early and I can just play this game after filming this segment. Quest for El Dorado is a race. If I can get my player through the jungle and the deserts and water to the finish line, I win. You're just trying to get to El Dorado first, and you win. But it's a deck building game, so starts off a little slow, but then you get more and more powerful, and the turns get more and more exciting. To give you a feel for how it plays, everyone starts with the same 8 starting cards, and then throughout the game, you'll buy cards from the market, and then eventually these cards over here will get added to the market, and then you'll get more and more powerful cards. But there's a lot of ways to play this game. You kind of have to look like deck building games. You want to make your deck efficient, so you want to get rid of cards when you can. You want to look ahead and see, okay, I'm going to need a lot of these types of cards later on, so maybe I'll get a few of them now, so later on I can speed up. And so there's all these little micro strategies you're just thinking about when you look at the board. And that's what I really enjoy about this game, is the boards are completely modular. There's other boards in the box I didn't even take out. These boards are two-sided. They physically remove and rotate, so I mean, depending on how they're rotated and how they're put together, you got a completely different game. And also in the book, he gives a lot of suggested setups, from easy and medium to hard to hardcore adventurer. So you can adapt to how hard you want the game to be, how easy, how deep, how long. So the flexibility just makes this game fantastic. So on your turn, you would start with 4 cards, and now you play them. So depending on what you get, is what you can do. So in this case, yellow cards can move onto the yellow spaces, or I can use them as money. So maybe I'll do that. So looking at the board, green cards let you move 1 green space. Well, this is 1 machete. I can move on to a 1 machete space. Later on, there's triple and double machete spaces. You need to have, in this case, you never can add cards together. You have to have a card that says like this one. This is a 3 machete card. So I can walk onto a 2 space or a 3 space if I have that card. So let's just say I play 1 machete there, 2 machete, moving forward. You start off slow, but now I'm gonna like maybe buy something. So if I look at the market, I'm looking ahead saying, okay, I might need some yellow cards to spin to get through some of this yellow coming up here, but also it can be used as money. So I might go ahead and just buy this photographer and I'll add this to my deck. And now those go away. And that's it. That's my turn. Just to give you a feel for how these special cards work. So for instance, if I was to buy this 6 machete, now some cards that are really powerful have like a one-time use. So this has a red X on it. Red X means after you use it, it's gone. But they can help you out. They can speed things up a little. Like for instance, if I was on this part of the board that has a lot of green, especially a lot of these triple machetes, if I was to go the long way, I have to go all the way around this long path. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have to go 9, movements, single movements to get to this spot. But if I have the 6 machete, I can spend it one time, it goes away, and then I can go on to this triple spot. So that's 6 minus. So I still got 3 movement left. So then I can go like 1, 2. So I basically just went 1, 2, 3 spots, what would take me 9 the long way. And there's also the thing called the native. This is my wife's favorite card. It lets you basically go to any adjacent space, doesn't matter what it is. So you could be sitting somewhere where it wants, like I said, even here, as a little shortcut, you need a 4 yellow. It's just, a 4 yellow is tough because like maybe you need like a treasure chest that's on one-time use, or you can have a millionaire, which costs 5 money. So if you have the native though, you can just, and this doesn't, you don't lose this, you just spend it, you can move 1 space onto that, and now you can make the run. So the native is pretty powerful. We definitely race for these. So that's a pretty high-low overview. That fun comes from like, everyone's all having fun, you're casually getting to the board, but once you get to like the mid part of the game, then whoever did a really good job building the deck, you can see. Because like everyone's kind of close together, and then someone's just gonna get a big run and you head start. And honestly, I've been in a lot of games, even though I say that, a lot of games that come down to like 1 turn, where we're all on the last board and it's just like having the right paddle, in this case, these are paddles. So some people just don't buy those. They're like, I don't need the water cards, there's not a lot of water here. But if you like strategically kept 1 in your deck and maybe just didn't use it, and then right now it shows up, you get that water spot and then you win the game. So there's a lot of fun moments in this game, and it's just one of those games like, it plays well at 2 players. I don't even play the 2 players the correct way. 2 players, you're supposed to play like 2 characters, and you control 2 characters. My wife and I still just play 1 character each. And I find that still a lot of fun. Because it's just like, it feels more casual, you're not trying to like control multiple things, and you just like, gotta get this, basically just the first one to get their wins. And number 6 is Parks. Now, for those who are watching like, Ryan, do you have the old version? Yes, I do. But we're just gonna focus on the new one for now. So Parks, it's just a cool game. You basically are walking down a trail, gathering resources, and trying to purchase or visit these different parks. Most points wins. Simple concept, but I just love how all the pieces fit together. It just comes a very fun, relaxing experience. So let's crack it open and show you how it works. Parks is a gorgeous game. I mean, looking at it right now, it's just a game that as soon as you see on the table, like, oh, I just want to play it. But it is a game that is not hard. It's just a lot of little things going on. So it takes some patience to get into. It's a game that is easy to play with the person. Like you can kind of walk through it openly with the person, because there's not a lot of secret information outside maybe like your passion goal, which we won't go through right now. Most points wins, but how do you get them? We'll show you how. So this is essentially a resource management. You're getting different like these sun icons and these water icons, and you're putting them in your backpack, because each card has like a cost. In this case, you need like 2 trees and 1 water, and you can buy this card. And at the end of the game, it gives you 3 points. What makes Parks kind of unique is you're actually controlling 2 characters. And the idea is you can go as far as you want up the trail. You just never go backwards. And you never can like share a space outside one exception. So for instance, right now, if I was to go first, I can go anywhere I want. And now, nice part is that you can like race ahead because you know you have another character that can come slow. But for instance, maybe I want to go, say, here, right? Because right now, the first person to the site, and really any site with these little icons, you get like a bonus icon for being there first. So there's definitely just like kind of race need. Okay, I want to get to the spot first because I get the extra bonus. Now for going here, I get the 1 water, but I also get 2 waters, because anyone who comes to the site will immediately get like the site bonus. In this case, 2 additional waters. So I'll get 2 more waters. Now the reason I even want water, because maybe I'm going for this card. It gives me 6 points. I just need a mountain, which I already have, 3 water, which I have. Now I just need a 1 wild token. I don't have that yet, but I think I can get it. So on a future turn, I can maybe come here. I get the sun for being first. Now this park lets me trade 1 resource for a wild one. So I can say, okay, instead of putting it in my backpack, I'm just gonna trade this immediately, and I'll get maybe this alligator token. Now the animal doesn't really matter what it is, but it's just like a wild. Now on a future turn, when I'm here at the park site, I could then say, all right, I'm gonna visit this park, but I'm also gonna go ahead and purchase it as well. So it's gonna cost me a mountain, 3 water, and then that 1 wild token. And that's it. Now I own the Glacier Bay National Park. So that would be victory points I did in the game. So that part is like the straightforward part. Now there's a lot of little things that make this game super interesting. You have this canteen thing here. So the canteen, for instance, if I had like this here, and later on if I got like a water, I can, instead of putting it in my backpack, I could put it in my canteen. Now I can activate one of these resources, but it could be like, maybe like instead of 2 of the same one, we'll put this one here. So now I can either get like a tree icon, or I can get, or resource, or I can maybe trade something in for a wild. And there's all the little things like there's like goods you can do that help yourself. There's season bonuses. There's like you can take photos, and the list goes on. There's a lot to this game, and I think you can even add more to it. So now the nice part is you can take things away. Like there's like the hiking part, the camping part. You can take that completely out of the game, not play that one. So you can definitely ramp this up or ramp it down in terms of how complicated you want to make it. But over my thoughts, I think Parks, it's just one of those games that I just enjoy. It's fun. Sometimes it's just fun to collect your favorite place. Like, oh, I've been here before. I want to get that one. Not the way to win the game per se, but it's fun to get the places that you've been to. And also, it's just like I love this little interaction here. I love games that you're like forced to consider what other players are doing. Like, I'm not a big fan of games that are just strictly heads down, just solving your puzzle. I like that I have to be like, okay, he needs that. He needs a sun icon, so he's probably going to go there. So I need to get there first, so that way I can get it, because I know I won't be there on my next turn. So I love that you have to like care about other people. And the game is just gorgeous. They did a great job making this game. I'm like, I had the original, which is also pretty, but honestly, this new one is gorgeous. And it comes with this nice, player mat, so everything is easy to lay out. So I mean, yeah, it's a good one. And number 5 is Honey Buzz, which has one of the cutest subtitles I've ever read. It just says 100% organic strategy. I mean, come on, it's pretty cute. So Honey Buzz there's a lot going on. And it has a lot to like. It's not exactly the easiest game to teach something new, so definitely more of a medium weight game, but it's definitely approachable. It has worker placement, but I like it a little bit different. You're not just putting your bee somewhere to get something. You can put it somewhere, but someone else can go there. They just have to pay double the amount of bees, which they call a beeline. This game has a market economy, which I really enjoy, where the goods are worth so much money, but as you sell them, they become less money. There's a lot going on here. We'll just open it up, show you what it's all about, and get into Honey Buzz. Now, I will say up front, I'm trying to go through this entire game to give you a really intricate look into it. It's just gonna be more time than we have here, but I'll try to give you like a high level feel of the gist of the game, and then maybe give you a little maybe flavor of what the other stuff involves at the end. At the core of the game, you're just building up your hive. You do that by taking your little bee workers and placing them on different tiles, and then you place a tile connected to your hive. Now, kind of the core goal of the game is to create these little empty cells, and those cells let you activate all these little icons that are on the tiles. So for instance, if I took another worker and went here, I took this guy, now I created an empty cell, and now I can then activate all these different symbols. So for instance, these both mean like baby bee workers, so they go here. This one means I just get money from the bank, so I get 5 points. And that one means I get to activate this little fan icon, which produces honey, but I can't do that yet, so we'll just skip that for now. But also what happens is, once I have this empty cell, if I'm to move my little foliage, my little bee that goes and gets nectar, the word is escaping me. So I would take this guy and I would put it here. And now, since it matches, like you have to match the border. So this case it's red on this side and on the tips it's white. So long as it matches exactly the pattern here, that's the other part of the game that makes it interesting. You're not just putting tiles willy-nilly. You have to put them in a strategic placement, so that way when you come here, you can get the right tile you want. Like for instance, this is probably the easiest placement. Other ones you need to be a little bit more, deliberate with, and they're harder to place. The other part of the game is how to make the money to win the points. You need money, aka points, to kind of win the game. There's a few ways you can do that. The easiest way is these are like in-game They call it the Queen's Contest. So these are the end of the game points. So if you can be the first person who has the most orders here, you'll get, you'll get 20 points. If you have the most nectar or you have one of different nectars, and these vary from game to game depending on which one you draw the deck, but they're just goals to try to achieve first. So what are orders? Orders are basically these right here. So if I can get these 2 types of honeys, on my hive, I can then cash it in and get 8 points. And there's different versions of that, different types of honeys, different kind of combinations. The last part I find pretty interesting is this like market board. So if I did have a honey on my board and I want to sell it, I can sell it to the market. So for instance, cherry blossoms right now are going for, $6 each, 6 points each. So if I had 2 of these, I could sell it for 12, but I only have 1, I could sell it for 6. Now, I find this part kind of fun because like as soon as I sell it or anyone sells it, the value then goes down. So instead of being worth 6, the next person who buys there, including myself, now it's only worth 5. I assume like other worker placement games you may or may not have played, there's always this like, okay, I want to go here because I really need this, but am I willing to pay this price? So there's like this constant timing element to the game. And meanwhile, you're always trying to build up your hive efficiently as possible to kind of match up with like what your kind of end goals are. So that's it. I won't go any more details. I just want to give you a flavor for it. There's a lot of little things going on here. I would say this is definitely not like a beginner game. But someone who's willing to learn and get into the game. There's a lot of replayability here, so that's why it's on the list. So this is Honey Buzz. And number 4 is Mille Fiori. Now this game, it's just so satisfying. This is a nice game with the right group of people because you are essentially competing over like several different mini games. I think it's like 4 or 5 different little mini games. And you're doing card drafting, which is also a fun mechanic a lot of people like. So it's very approachable. I would say this board is super intimidating. When they see the board, most people run away thinking it's going to be some crazy hard game. It really isn't. It's just there's a lot of mini games on the board. So once you know every single mini game, the game's super simple. Now, I love these kind of games because like you want to do everything, right? In classic Reiner Knizia fashion, you wish you had 3 turns when you only have 1. So let's break it down and kind of show you what makes this game so special. You know how many times I forget that this is in the shot? Put me alone, there's a lot of challenges. Getting the camera focus is one of them. And you know how many times I forget my dummies in the shot? A lot of times. Funny enough, I first played this game not knowing it was Reiner Knizia. And then after playing it, I looked at the box and I was like, of course. I was like so tense during this game. It's just so many things you want to do and you just can't do everything you want when you want to do it. And then that's classic Reiner. Surprise, surprise, you're trying to get the most points. So first thing you notice, this board looks pretty intimidating. Fear not. Let me break it down. It's actually a bunch of mini games just on one board. So you have like this section here is a game, this purple section is a game, these 2 sections are games, and like this is like 2 separate games. And then this is like a little bonus track. So you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like 7 different things on the board. So it seems like a lot, but if you break it down into like the sections, it isn't that bad. And how you play is on your turn, everyone starts with 5 cards. And it's like a closed drafting where you are dealt a random assortment of cards. You would pick a card. Everyone picks a card, you pass the deck, and then you reveal the card. So if I chose this card, which is like a key, I would take one of my little things and I would put it on top of the key section, right? Now that would score me 2 points. Ta-da! And I will just say, this person also chose the key because he had a key in their hand. So they chose the key and they went there. But since they went second, they get 4 points. Oh, I'm so sad I went first. So that explains the first part of this game I love so much. There's so many times where you want to be the second or third person in a spot, not the first, because the first is going to get 2. So like me choosing the key early on is like, I don't want to do that. Because you can only take 1 card at a time. With that said, there's different space on the board and different actions that you get bonus turns. And that is where this game really sings for me. Because like I was saying earlier, you really want to like 2 turns or 3 turns to really make that optimal move. And you can't just with the normal, like, hey, play 1 card, play 1 tile. But if you work it out just right, now I can maybe get 3 turns and make this optimal move. Because otherwise I risk some other player kind of like foiling my plans. Like a lot of other games on this list, this game seems intimidating, but 1 play, you're fine. My in-laws played this game. The first half of the game, admittedly, was a lot of instructions for me, a lot of helping, teaching. But by the second half, they were good to go. And then we just went ahead and played 1 more game after this, and they played flawlessly. Just for funsies, I'll give you a quick snapshot of other parts of the board, just so you kind of know what you'll be doing. So on this part of the board, you get a lot of points for adjacencies. So if I was here, then I went here, I would get 1 point for the first one. And then if I went here, I would get 2 points because I have 2 connected tiles. Then if I went here, for instance, now I have 3, so that'd be 3 points. Now, where it gets a little bit spicy, if you can go to this spot here, there'll be cards that indicate that. So now, instead of just getting 4 points, it's a doubler. So I would get 8 points. So if you can get some big chains of your pieces and then get a doubler, there's a lot of points to be had. The other nice little part about the game is each mini game has like another objective. So each game, for instance, you could score maybe, if you're the first one to do something, you could score like 20 points. If you're the second person, you get 15 points, and so on and so forth. What I really like about that, maybe you want to do a little bit of everything, but if you do that, maybe you won't complete the goal, and then you're just getting second or third place and not getting optimal points. So sometimes you really got to kind of go ham on a few places, get there first, do the main objective, and then maybe spread out somewhere else, or just completely ignore some parts of the board. In the day, most points win, so you just got to find the strategy that works for you. So just some quick closing thoughts. The board aside, I mean, really all you're doing is picking a card, playing it, and putting down a piece. And that's it. And now within that space, you try to figure out the right combinations to do a little bit better than the person next to you. And here, hey guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Totally, that was totally him. Yep, totally him. And number 3 is Galileo Galilei. This game is one of those games, it's a resource management game. This makes you feel super clever. The way you pick your starting action and how it flows through the game, it's just satisfying. Let's just show you like a little bit how the game works, and I think you'll like it too. You forget how long this board is until you put it on this, until you try to fit it into the frame of the camera. So let's first adjust your eyes to what you're looking at here. So this is the main board here. It's pretty long. Getting into the camera was a tricky shot. And each person has their own player board here with this nice, nifty, adjustable accent selection little telescope here, which is fun. You're trying to score the most points. How to do that? A few different ways. You can observe these major objects. You know, maybe you look at the moon here, the Luna, and then that's going to give you the points at the top of the card. Or you can observe these constellations, which give you different kind of actions and comboing powers. The other way is they have these kind of first come, first serve scoring objectives here. So the first person to achieve these things, like the first person who could observe 4 of these cards can put a token here and they'll get 7 points. Everyone else who does it will only get 3. And then you have these other tracks here that also help with comboing, but also give you points. So these are like the, I would say the 3 main ways. And there's a few other things sprinkled in there we won't really go into. A lot of the game is centered around dice, as you can see. Now, it's not dice how we're used to. You're not rolling the dice. The dice are mainly like currency, if you will. Each of these cards costs something. For instance, this one, you need some combination of yellow and blue dice, which makes green. You do learn your color blending here as well. You got your red and blue dice to make your purple. So if I wanted to buy this card for 7 green, I would have to have at least, right now they're all worth 1, so that doesn't help me. But once I get enough yellow and blue that at least sum up to 7, I could then purchase this card. The may flow of your turn is essentially moving this little accent selection wheel. Now you can move it 1 to 3 spaces, depending on what you want to do. And each time you're going to activate like 2 sections of the board. One of it, you'll notice that these tiles are loose because the position will always be changing throughout the game. So for instance, if I went like 1, 2, 3 here, I'm observing a comet, which is these guys here. We won't really go into too much about this, but they would just go here, and they help you discount the price of the dice. So it's nice, like dice mitigation, which is always like a good mitigation. But really, you're also doing this other action here. So this says I can increase all my blue dice. So it's nice to use that action if you have a lot of the same color dice. I can increase them all by 1 value. So like 1 goes to a 2, 3 goes to a 4, et cetera, et cetera. Or I can increase any 1 dice I want to up. In this case, up 2. So if I know I'm going for that blue, maybe I want to go to a 1 to a 3 on my blue dice. So I'll use that action, and I observe the comment, which is going to help me later. The neat part of this game is as soon as you do an action like this tile gets removed, it gets placed to the bottom, and everything shifts up. So the combination of the permanent action that's fixed to the board plus those will always be changing. So there's always this game of like figuring out like, okay, if I go here, because these 2 at the bottom you can't get to right away. But if I go here, then that's going to slide in. Then my next action. So you're kind of looking ahead to seeing, okay, When's this combination been available? What, trying to optimize your little engine here. So to wrap it up, I will say one thing about this game that I really enjoyed it. Given that it's a medium weight game, I would say it's on the easier of the medium weight games. Because I have a lot of games that are rated the same, roughly around like the 2.8, 2.9 rating. But this one is a little bit more linear in terms of how it progresses. Like once you get past a couple of cards, your goal becomes clear. You can kind of see what you want to do. And now the rest of your turns are just trying to optimize, trying to get to the ending that you kind of foresee. Where some of these games, I feel like there's just so many things and maybe I'll do that. You kind of don't quite get that firm strategy right away. So it can feel a little bit more AP, a little bit more overwhelming. Where this one, I just felt like it never felt overwhelming. Each turn, you're just doing, okay, moving this thing 1 to 3 times and that does something, which lets you do something. And that just felt very kind of closed in, not in a bad way, in a good way, I'm saying. So it took what is kind of a meaty game and made it feel a lot easier. And number 2 is Imhotep. Now, I think this game is great. I don't know why it's not talked about as much, maybe because it can be a little bit mean, because in this game, you are essentially doing 4 different mini games. But the twist is you have these boats. You have to get to those locations. And you put these little cubes in there and they have to sail the boat to the location. The twist is you can move the boat to the location you want to, but so can anybody else. So you can have your person in there, someone else's person in there, and they can just go somewhere you didn't expect to go. So there's the tension there. Like, do you add another block to the boat or do you move the boat? Because maybe you want to get 2 blocks in there, but you're like, well, if I wait till my next turn around, someone else might, sell that ship somewhere else. So do I just go with 1 block? And that's essentially the game in a nutshell. So let's break it down and kind of show you what it feels. But in playing it, man, the whole time you're like, do I push my luck more? So I don't know. It's a fun, definitely push your luck game. I have played this game at all player counts, 2 to 4 players. 2 players definitely a little more cutthroat if that's more your style. But a little bit more, probably more enjoyable at 3 or 4 players. Now this game is super simple. There's just 1, 2, 3, 4 little mini games you're playing. And a lot of them are just like, this one is all about placing your stones in spots, and if you place it there, you get 2 points. You place it there, you get 3 points. But you have to go in order, so you have to kind of build this way. So you're trying to like time it where you're obviously getting the more pricier spot. Well, not pricier, the more lucrative spots to give you more points. Here, it's all about getting adjacencies. So if you have like 4 cubes touching in some way, you get 10 points. You get 5 cubes touching in some way, you get 15 points. So here is all about trying to like keep things connected, and obviously defensively you're trying to like cut people off so they can't make connections. This one is all about just stacking them in a straight line, and if you look down from the top like a bird's eye view, whatever you see color-wise, they score points. So this case is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So up to 5 points if you're the only one there. So there's always this tug and pull of like trying to like cover people up or trying to uncover yourself and that kind of stuff. And this last one's super simple. It's the end of the game, tallest pyramid. So you'll be stacking, I guess it's the obelisk. You'll be stacking these, and in the end, whoever has the tallest one, if you're playing a 4-person game, gets 15 points. The second tallest, 10, and the last person will only get, a point if you compete. If you don't compete at all, you don't get any points. So that's a quick overview of the games. But what makes this game interesting is how do you get your cubes there in the first place? That's where it gets a little bit tense. So on your turn, you could do a couple of things. I guess it's 4 things technically. So you can either take 3 blocks from the quarry, which if I start with only 2 blocks, that's probably what I'm gonna do first, just because I want to have options for later. The other thing you could do is you can place your cubes on these boats. So if I play, now you can put it anywhere you want, because when the boat docks with a location, it unloads from, say, first to last. So I don't have to go first. I could be like, oh, you know what? Based on the timing of what I see, I want to be the 3rd person there, because it goes 2, 1, 3. So I want to be the 3rd person off this boat, potentially. Because the other thing you can do is you can just sell a boat. So maybe I'm trying to go there. So I'm trying to put my stuff like in these 2 positions. Herein lies the problem. Someone can join me in my little boat with me, or each boat has a minimum. So this is a 3-person boat. There's even a 4th-person boat we're not showing here. Each one has a minimum. So as long as there's 2 cubes in this boat, I can sell it or anyone else can sell it. So someone else not on my turn can be like, oh, Ryan really wants to go there. Nah, he's gonna go here now. So they can sell my boat. And that's where the meanness comes in this game a little bit. Or, so you always gotta kind of balance yourself out. Like maybe going there is a little too greedy. So maybe I'll go here instead. And this guy might go here. Maybe I'll go here by myself, right? So it's all about this balance about, like if you go, obviously, if you make yourself too lucrative, meaning like that guy knows you're going to score like crazy, there might move you to like the cards, right? And that's the last part we didn't explain. These cards are like game modifiers and additional points. Simply put, like this one right here is like, it's just set collecting. The more cards of these I have at the end of the game, the more points I have. So in this case, if I get 5 of these exact cards, I'll get like 15 extra points. And other cards let you do other things. Maybe let you to take this card, maybe you can play something here or play something here. So they all have a little different powers that just help make your connections better. So closing thoughts, I can tell on my list, I really do like games that force people to kind of look up from their board and really interact with people at the board. And sometimes that means you have to obviously look at what they're doing, see what they're doing, try to stop their plans. Sometimes you have to like work together with someone else just temporarily. Maybe they see I'm getting really ahead, so now they're going to team together. Now, sometimes they team together, sometimes they backstab each other, or sometimes they do work together and they may stop me for a little bit. But eventually, they're going to have to break free, and now I have a new alliance member. So I just like the interaction. I play games, I took up board games because I want to get off the phone, off the screens, and I just wanted to interact. And then, I mean, this game is just a perfect game to do that with. And it's simple. It's easy to teach. These games aren't hard to teach. Like anyone can learn these games. Even my dad, who never plays board games, he was over visiting, and I just took a chance to play this game, and he got into it. He understood it right away, which I was very happy. He never plays games, and he was able to jump into this game. So definitely a gateway-friendly game. Just, know your audience. Some people, the fact that you sell or boat somewhere else, some people can't handle that heartache. So know your audience before you play it. So yeah, this is Imhotep. And we're here, my number 1 game, Skyrise. I am a little sucker for bidding games, and this one's cool. I really do enjoy city building games, and this one combines like city building with a bidding component. And there's a lot of other things too. There's also some track management and some seeking for information. There's just a lot to love about Skyrise. So let's crack it open and show you why it's so good. So Skyrise combines 2 of my favorite mechanics. That is like a bidding and set collecting. You're bidding for different areas on the map, and then ultimately you're taking the discs that you win and put them on your board, set collecting on your board here. Most recently played a card game called Trinket Trove, which does something similar. You're bidding and you're collecting. I just love that command. I just love the feeling of it. It's fun, it's interactive, and it's just a good time. The high level of how this works is say I was first, on my turn, I have to start in the center here. And just FYI, this board is set up for a 2-player game. There's 2 more boards. You basically have 1 whole board per player. So if we're playing 3 players, I would have a board here. And if we're playing 4 players, the whole thing would be filled out. So I basically start my opening bid. I can put it, say, here. Now we go around, in this case, just my one opponent here. Now they can bid or not bid. If they don't bid, I would just get this, chip that I bid, and that's it. Or if they want to bid, they have to bid somewhere adjacent to where I start a bid. So maybe they go a little bit higher. Maybe they go 34 here. And then I can either bid that or higher. I might go 53 just for funsies to show you. Now let's say, okay, that stops. Maybe he just did it, maybe push me a little bit higher. Because they can see how much money you have, and then I can see his stuff as well. So now, basically, whatever didn't win the bid goes away. So we get back our losing bids. My winning bid gets turned face down, and now it's like a permanent structure that's occupying that space. Which is neat because you can only bid in open spaces. So since it's occupied, that's another way to block things off. This is more like the meta strategies, which I really enjoy. So I get this white one right here that would go on my board. Now what this whole set collecting here on the board is at the top of the board, I'll face it this way so the camera can zoom in nice and easily. At the top of the board here, right now at the end of the game, wherever my buildings end up on the board, the ones in the yellow spaces or white or green, they're all worth 2 points. Where you can make it worth more, say now, instead of being worth 2 points for these white spaces, they're now worth 3. And if I could add another chip later on, then they're worth 4. If I get one more, it's worth 6. The trouble is if you get a fourth one, then they're only worth 4. So optimally, you're trying to get to the 3, especially if you're in a lot of the same color. If I really in a lot of white spaces, then I want to get those white chips up. Now, the part you have to balance is, the spaces, they're not always in the same color. So this white has a yellow, this brown has a green. They don't always line up because these are randomly put on the board to start the game. So that's it. So I won the first bit. I would go again. Maybe I'd go somewhere like here. Now, his turn. So then they go 34. And what? I'm gonna let them have that one. So then I take this back. They get this one. The reason I wanted to show you this one this is the letter C. Now what the C does, it relates to this board over here. Now this is a little bit of a fun little mystery part of the game, because all these chips are randomly put on the board and they go A, B, C, up to D. And essentially, as they pick C, they can look at the C and they know C is worth 3 points. What you don't know, I'll just turn them over so you can see, is each one of these has a random starting value. So right now A is worth the most, but none of us know that. So if we pick up an A chip and we look at it, we know it's worth 8, but we know that they don't know that. You can lie and say, oh man, and make it seem like it's not worth anything. And sometimes there's mind games where I'll pick up an A and be like, yes, it's worth 8. And then later on, I'll pick up something else, like a C. And maybe to make them think, oh, A is not worth much. And then maybe don't collect it. Because later on, I want to get this A over here. So there's a little bit of mind games with some hidden information that not everyone knows but you. There's also different public objectives you're competing for in terms of having the tallest buildings in certain areas. There's private objectives that you're trying to achieve. Like if you can get like 3-year buildings in like a certain shape or location, then you get extra points. And there's also these things with its wonders. I didn't go through all of it. There's always little extra details. These games, they always have like the base game is pretty simple, and then they add a little bit extra things to make it more of a medium weight game. So this game is no different, but it's a lot of fun. If you enjoy bidding and set collecting, it's definitely a game you might want to check out. Well, that was fun going through my top 10 games so far. I realize this is probably going to change. This list will constantly be in flux. Some of the games I'm sure will always be there, and some might slip off. I mean, that's the fun part about going on this journey. You discover so many games. I have played games I really enjoyed, but I just know I need to get a few more plays, because some games sometimes they can just hurt your head. You're like, I don't know. I just need to play it more to kind of get more comfortable with it. So I'll be curious to see another year from now, when I refresh this list, what kind of sneaks into the top 10, what kind of maybe drops out. I imagine all these games I'm going to love forever. It just depends on, where to put them. I'm sure if you guys ever try to rank your games, it's tough. Even this list, I would say it can be fluid based on the mood in the group, right? That's just the nature of lists. That's why I think eventually I want to try to do like more of a S tier, one of a tier ranking, because I feel like until I do that, I'll never have mixed games. Like I feel like I'll have card games, kind of these filler games or board games that are S tier. But if I compare a nice hardcore board game to a card game, it's hard to put them in the same list. But if I just did tier ranking, well, then I think you could have those little kind of cool mixed matches. So are there any games here that you guys really particularly enjoy? Which one would you play? Would you put any of these in your top 10, or even top 20 or top 50? I'm not forcing you to love them as much as I do. Everyone has their taste. That's what's so beautiful about this hobby. But I definitely look forward to making more, so more content, that is. So please, hit subscribe, hit like, all that good stuff. I love hearing from you guys, especially in the comments. When you guys say what games you like, or if you guys disagree with me, it's all good. I like having conversations and just meeting you guys out there in the interwebs. So until next video, take care. See you later. Bye.